breaking news. Iran and Saudi Arabia announced today that they are normalizing relations. Now, these talks between Saudi Arabia and Iran have been taking place in Beijing, and China's communist regime brokered the talks and now helped to solidify once again relations between these two rivals. There have been no diplomatic relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia since 2016. So needless to say, Iran and Saudi Arabia in most cases have been at loggerheads. And what we've seen shaping up in the region is on one side, the Iran axis, including the Iranian regime, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, the Assad regime in Syria, and on the other side, Saudi Arabia and the Sunni Arab nations. And then we have this curveball today with the Saudis announcing normalized relations with the Iranian regime. Folks, that's number one. Number two, not a question, but a statement of fact here, folks. China considers itself a big winner in this situation, or the big winner. They just brokered the normalization of relations between two rivals. Again, they hosted these talks in Beijing. In the past, when there were peace talks, the U.S. was usually the broker. What this shows you, Saudi's leaders just don't trust the Biden administration, and that's why they're getting closer to the regime in Beijing, to the regime of Vladimir Putin as well. So I think an overriding theme here, folks, is it shows the weakness in Washington, D.C. right now.
I guess the tone that's coming out of our congressmen and senators, that we need to declare war on the Mexican cartel. That's basically what needs to happen. And how do you do that? First of all, they need to be designated as terrorist organizations. Once they're designated as terrorist organizations, then our government can do things, go after them proactively. The Mexican government is not going to do anything. What you're seeing today, yesterday, it's not going to change. The Mexican government has no control. The Mexican cartels are in control of what's going on in Mexico. And the only way we're going to get a handle on the situation is for our government to step up its game and go after the cartels. Otherwise, things are going to change. You're going to see more of the same. And we're going to continue to see the massive amounts of fentanyl flowing across our border that's killing tens of thousands of Americans. So something different needs to be done.
Well, Robert, why do you think there is that hesitation to designate the cartels as terrorist organizations? Why a hesitation? Because we keep hearing that that's what needs to be done.
Is because of corruption. So we saw a recent example where a high-ranking government official from Mexico, former defense minister, was found guilty of being directly involved with the cartel. He's not the only one.
Right.
He is not the only one. There's many more like that. So I think that the Mexican government will be trying to protect their own because they may be exposed as we begin taking down these cartels.
So now to the bank accounts and the digital dollar. President Biden is moving closer to taking control of our monetary system, pushing us to a digital dollar. In March of 2022, President Biden took the biggest steps yet to sign an executive order requiring the Federal Reserve to research, experiment, and evaluate the risks and benefits of a digital dollar. Congressman Emmer says the White House is about to introduce an authoritarian style and surveillance style digital dollar through, again, executive orders. Watch.
The Biden administration is currently itching to create a digital authoritarian-styled surveillance-style digital dollar. And through an executive order, they are pursuing analysis on a retail CBDC that would not be open, permissionless, or private.
Okay, more concern. Let's move on. Kim Jong-un has ordered North Korea's military to intensify drills in preparation for a real war. On Thursday, Pyongyang fired a short-range ballistic missile off its west coast. Photographs released by North Korea's state-run media showed at least 6 missiles being fired at the same time. According to local reports, Kim Jong-un, while meeting soldiers, told them to prepare for, quote, two strategic missions. The first to deter war, the second to take the initiative in war. Photographs showed Kim and his daughter watching an artillery unit fire a volley of missiles on Thursday. The drill comes ahead of South Korea and the United States preparing to kick off their largest joint exercises in 5 years on Monday. Relations between North and South Korea are at an all-time low. Nuclear-armed North Korea is conducting increasingly provocative banned weapon tests, whereas South Korea is ramping up security cooperation with Washington in response.